Green flag is waving. We are racing at Talladega. Will Kirk, Ryan McRoberts to the line.
It's a good start on the bottom for Kirk and Haynes. Now McRoberts with help is fighting out on the outside, and that third lane has already started moving with the drivers of Bandit Motorsports.
That's Patton leading Schulte and Michael on the top side. They got some work to do as McRoberts leading what is now the middle line with Willie Evernham behind him. Extreme outside line is rolling here, but Will Kirk will show the way here for the opening circuit around Talladega.
Running 3 wide for quite a few laps as Patton gets way out in front here with the help of Michael. I think both of them were trying to get clear. Patton is left out in the middle.
So these guys are sort of making the moves on each other here up front. They're not playing very nice team-wise.
Well, we mentioned Wally Turheimer was hanging out in the back, and that has come to a sudden halt. Oh, boy, we got lots of blocking going on there in that middle lane. And as we get going here on the apron, Widener is going to be going much, much faster. Oh, you see the big wiggle there from McRoberts off the apron. And Widener goes to make a pass on the flat.
We've only lost one truck from this race. Everybody else has a shot that's on the lead lap. 18 trucks all here together, vying for the win. And here's your 4 wide.
Whoa!
Oh, no, there they go! Cleaver into Crowder, and that is the back half of the field. Caution number 2, and it's the big one.
Jackson goes to move down, and he is going to get hooked in some contact with Cleaver. It turns Jackson loose, then right rears Cleaver up into the wall right in front of Crowder. There goes Smith, Hamby, Haynes, Paradise, Jackson involved, McGuire involved, Watts involved, Evernham. I mean, that is a good portion. About half of the field there.
Potential final 2-lap run to the checkers here. Wally Turheimer and Scott Patton. Boy, that top line does not get going at all. Jerry Bergeron stacks him up big time. Patton now will get the help from Andrew Schulte. Michael with Turheimer. Michael fades off the 75.
Oh, Kirk moves up to the top. Burkhart will be third in line on the bottom now. And there goes Kirk looking for the lead on the third lane.
Here's Kirk with help from Bergeron. 3 wide for the top spot. Advantage Turheimer here into 3. I think advantage Patton as we head to the tri-oval, coming to what could be the white flag. Next flag ends it. Patton with the lead by a nose. Turheimer with help from Michael. Oh, wiggles from the middle lane.
Aggressive pushing through the corners here. That's what it's going to take.
Big run coming here from Schulte up to Patton. But Michael, Burkhart, and Wally Turheimer on the bottom have answered. Burkhart wiggles.
Whoa!
Michael out of shape. Here's the run from Scott Patton. Burkhart with a shot to Turheimer. The drag race to the line. A side draft. Oh, Turheimer with a bump and a spin. Turheimer gets it! Wally Turheimer sideways a across the line, and Wally Turheimer wins it at Talladega as the entire field crashes.
Schulte thinks about going to the outside, finally makes the move. And that is the last effort. Another shot from Burkhardt that gets Wally Turheimer loose and then sideways across the line. Unbelievable.
This is a popular one over the radio from the drivers. Everybody congratulating Wally. We got a lot of Go Wally's jobs in the chat here. The original home of That's Just Short Track Racing, and we're going to put that moniker to the test here tonight. Round number 18 of the revival season of Maximum Velocity. Just 3 more races to go this season, including tonight's 200-lap extravaganza at the home of the hot dog, the paperclip itself, Martinsville Speedway. Every lap of Max V Racing action, as always, right here on Turn 200 for a 200-lap race. How fitting we did not pay them to do that. Who will survive after a short track race here tonight? Who knows? But we're going to find out here momentarily. My name is Tommy Cook. The GOAT, Matt Williamson, will be along momentarily. He just ran to get us some Martinsville hot dogs. A quick check of the points. Ashton Crowder still on top. Doubts that he will be here tonight are lingering. This may be Andrew Schulte's time to capitalize. He will have to execute here tonight in order to keep his 6-race podium streak intact, en route to possibly taking that points lead away. Scott Patton, with a runner-up finish last week at Talladega, has now moved up to 3rd in the point standings, but not much is changing up top other than the margins. 23 points is all that stands between Schulte and Crowder. It's another 62 back from Crowder to Patton. But these numbers will all tighten up here, possibly here tonight, if Ashton Crowder is not able to make the starting grid. Short track racing is on the way. Coverage of round number 18 of the revival season of Maximum Velocity Racing League is around the turn from Martinsville on Turn 200.
A blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation. Welcome back to live coverage of Maximum Velocity Racing League here from the International House of Hot Dogs. My name is Tommy Cook. We got the GOAT, Matt Williamson, here. Are we ready for 200 laps around Martinsville? 100 miles doesn't sound like a whole lot, but you know what? It's short track racing, and these guys have been getting froggy here down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's interesting because we'll get to it here a little bit later as well. We'll talk about it more, but there's a lot of your top players here in the championship that aren't here tonight. So it's a lot of people that are not generally fighting for the wins, I guess you would say, although some of them certainly have. But in the long, big scheme of things, there's a lot of opportunity here for some drivers, just like there was last week at Talladega.
Oh, for sure. We alluded to the fact that Ashton Crowder would not be here more than likely. He's got 1 minute and 10 seconds to pop in here before qualifying concludes. But no Scott Patton tonight. He's been on a tear of late. No Justin Michael. He's always a favorite to win no matter what track it is. Andrew Schulte, second in the points, is here. And with only 20 trucks, he is looking to put in a decent amount of points tonight. And really give Ashton Crowder a run for his money here down the stretch with 2 races to go after tonight, which, of course, will be at Dover next week and Charlotte, I think, in two weeks after that. We'll have 1 off week for Thanksgiving before the season concludes. With just 29 seconds left to go here, 12 of the 20 drivers have posted a time in qualifying. So while we got a second, we want to say hello to everybody that is out here hanging out with us tonight. Drop us a chat. Let us know who are you rooting for here as we got 10 seconds left to go before we could take to the grid. And like Matt said, a lot of drivers in this field are looking for their first win of the season, first win of their Max V career for a few of these drivers. And one driver looking for the points lead and looking for his first win in the new revitalized Maximum Velocity Racing League. One driver who is going to take the pole for the first time this season is Cody Griffin. He will lead the field of green. Andrew Schulte is on a 6-race long podium streak with no victories in that stretch, no victories this season. He wants to finish on top here tonight. Brennan Gregg has been awfully sporty in practice here and will start on the inside of the second row. Johnny Hamby was the fastest in practice. He qualifies 4th. We'll see what Johnny can do from the outside of row number 2. Greg Mall back in the field tonight. He rounds out your top 5 starters. Ryan McRoberts will line up in 6th. Row number 4 then is Jack Watson the inside, Matt Burkhart on the outside, and Mark Jackson starts in 9th, and last week's Talladega winner in spectacular fashion, Wally Terheimer, rounds out your top 10 starters. John Pansola will line up on the inside of row number 6 with Charlie Widener, who has been pretty good on these short tracks, starting in 12th. Michael Melfeld, another short track ace this season, back in 13th. Drew Strotman to his outside in 14th. Mick McGuire, Bill Paradise on row number 8. Riley Berkma and Kerry Cleaver on row number 9. Then it's Brad Slagle, who is looking to move into the top 5 in the points tonight, starting in 19th. Chris Boyles got himself a good finish on top 5 last week at Talladega. He is slated to round out the starting lineup here from Martinsville. Round number 18, 3 races ago, including this one here. What are the drivers, other than incoming kamikaze missiles into some of these turns, what are the drivers going to be watching out for and preparing for ahead of 200 laps tonight?
Yeah, well, the kamikaze missiles may happen early on here. Track temperature is maybe the coolest I've ever seen it. 69 degrees is the temperature on the track. So, yes, that is that is nice. So what that means for the drivers is they really got to be careful and let these tires get heated up before they start barreling into these corners. But it's hard to do here at Martinsville when you feel like you can gain so much position and you feel like you need to in a little bit of time before everybody kind of gets sorted out. But you're going to have to be on your toes. You're going to have to be careful. We got 200 laps here tonight. Like you said, there are 4 extra sets of tires. The field window's probably almost 100 laps here. I think we're probably going to see a 2-stop race, but it's maybe possible to stretch it, but I think probably for tires, everybody's just going to make it a 2-stop race anyways. But it does give way to there could be a lot of varying strategies here, so that's kind of nice. 0 fast repairs as always, and boy, these are tight confines, but only 20 trucks here, so should make it a little bit easier on the drivers.
So we've had it both ways in terms of short track racing this season. Phoenix, there were quite a few cautions. Iowa, right in the middle. North Wilkesboro, we had an early caution and a second early-ish caution, and then ran the rest of the race caution-free. So who knows what's variation of that we're going to get here. It's the half-mile paperclip. Some drivers love it, some drivers are dreading it, but either way, everybody on track right now is in for 200 laps at Martinsville. Field being led by Cody Griffin and Andrew Schulte, and everybody now barreling towards turn number 1. We're under green at Martinsville. Griffin clear. Side by side for third. Brennan Gregg clear on Johnny Hamby, and 1 is in the books. Most everybody's able to get down to the bottom there through the top 10 at least, battling just outside the top 10. Especially with a cool track like this. Right out of turn 2 here, now that the tires are getting a little bit of temperature, you're going to see some drivers start to slip and slide just a bit. But everybody minded so far.
Yeah, you're going to be slipping and sliding and some wall banging here all night long. Cody Griffin looked like he got up into the wall just a little bit, but not going to hurt the truck too bad there. The interesting thing about Martinsville is it's very much a rhythm racetrack, but it's hard to stay in that rhythm when you have trucks both in front of you and behind you so close together. It keeps you on edge almost the entire time as you see a big wiggle out of Schulte there.
So Cody Griffin ran really well at Richmond, led the most laps in that race, finished just out of the podium positions. Does have 1 podium this season. Doing a nice job out front, uncontested thus far. As Mark Jackson back in 9th just ran the purple lap of the race here, coming to lap number 7. But Cody Griffin takes that back away with a 19.685. Oh,
Whoa.
Spin just behind Jackson there. It's Wally Turheimer. It was a half spin. He locks it down. Bit of contact with the inside wall, and now here's Charlie Widener to challenge for that 10th spot.
Well, right when that happened, Schulte is very uneasy in his truck as well. Turheimer does get passed by Widener. And it looked like Schulte almost went around almost exactly at the same time. So, yeah, the tires and the track will change a lot throughout these runs. You got to be able to manage that.
Oh, we do have a spin now in 3 and 4. I think that was Riley Berkman, maybe not. I think it was actually Chris Voiles. But again, a half spin, locks it down, keeps going. But he had help on that one.
Closest 2 together on the track for the majority of this race so far has been Greg Maul and Johnny Hamby.
Oh, now we got problems. Kerry Cleaver with a spin in turn number 2 has brought the first caution of the night out on lap number 10. And I think he was running back in 19th, so we'll see how this one came to be.
Yeah, he was also caught up a little bit in that Chris Voiles incident, I think, as well. So he had been kind of pushed back to the field a little bit. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of this incident. Oh, it just gets in way too hot into entry and just spins it around. Taps the outside wall. Not much contact there, so the truck's going to be in good shape still. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened with Voiles here as well. And a little bit of the same with Voiles, although it didn't come in quite as high. He just got kind of loose throughout the middle of the corner there. So we've seen tough conditions for the drivers here. The trucks are very, very loose. Seems to be both on entry and exit, really all throughout the corner. From what I can tell with Voiles there, he kind of went around right in the middle of the corner. So tricky conditions here.
Cody Griffin had gotten out to a nice lead. That lead is now erased. Schultz looked to be a little bit steadier there right as the caution was coming out. So he will restart now from the outside as Griffin will pick the bottom. To note, Michael Milfelt Jr. and Bill Paradise both came down pit road under the caution. So they will restart at the tail of the field here. So it'll be Griffin and Schultz on the front row, Greg and Hamby on row 2, other Greg Mall, and Jack Watts on row 3. Griffin to the Geico restart zone. We are back to it. Good getaway here. Now Brennan Gregg underneath of Schultz, challenging for second.
Schultz hoping to get clear off the corner, and does.
That loose end condition, that's a risky move, but one that you have to make if you want to hang on to the spot. Oh, trouble in the back. Mick McGuire around in turn 4. And a bit of what we saw on Tuesday. Cautions breeding cautions early here. The second caution flies. Just 2 laps after the green was back in the air. And an immediate tow from McGuire, who was in a bit of a precarious position there on the bottom. Kind of hung up on the curbing there.
Take a look at the incident. Hard battling in front of him. Oh. McGuire's going to get some help here from Berkema. Go ahead and rewind it here. Looked like Berkema just sent it into the corner a little bit hot. And McGuire had to check up a little bit for Strotman, and I think Berkema just didn't really expect him to check up that hard. So Berkema gets in the back of him, and then McGuire kind of starts to save it, and then Berkema tags him again in the middle of the corner. And he mentioned it. That's an instant tow for McGuire here.
It was almost a really good save. But like you said, the second time is what did him in there. I mean, not horribly damaged by that, especially not at a short track. But in an awkward spot, doesn't want to interfere with any of the on-rushing leaders or anything, and probably a bit frustrated after that one as well. So hopefully he will rejoin the fray here momentarily. 19 of the 20 trucks on the lead lap here, early in the going. Griffin and Schultz will have another opportunity here on the front row, and we started to talk about it a bit, but nice work there by Schultz to fend off the challenge from Brendan Gregg, who looked to be in a pretty good spot to challenge for second. So nothing changing in the top 10 there. Go ahead.
Well, Greg was awfully close to being able to make that inside line work. Schultz narrowly got clear. We'll see if he can have a better crack at it this time.
Coming to put lap 20 on the board this time. Another good getaway here for Griffin up front. Schultz again under fire. Schultz with a wiggle. Not going to be able to clear this time. Greg walks him up the track a bit.
Oh, a little bit of contact there. Gets the nose of Greg loose.
Schultz clear. Not by much, but you take what you can get here.
Yeah, just a little tiny bit of contact. Kind of got the nose of Brendan Craig loose a little bit, and that's all it took.
Oh, man. Stack up just outside of the top 10. Berkman, Turheimer, Slagle, and company.
Big contact! It's Chris Voiles.
Yeah, and that is right behind where that stack up started as we're back under caution.
Chris Voiles and Kerry Cleaver's the one that gets the worst of it.
Yeah,
Cleaver with
Voiles.
big damage to the nose of that truck.
Voiles down off the wall there. This one, we could back this one all the way up basically to the front straightaway and track how the dominoes fall to put Voiles in that position.
Well, why don't we go ahead and back that up then? I think it's right around Turheimer is kind of where the incident started. You see Turheimer and Berkema fighting for position awfully close. Oh, and Turheimer gets the rear end of the truck kicks out through the middle of the corner. It's a little bit loose. Oh, and then the big stack up with Berkema and Mark Jackson. Jackson slows down a little bit more than Berkema would have liked. The Voiles. Oh, and then Voiles goes high because of the incident and then gets loose off the exit and comes off the wall, and that's where Cleaver gets banged up. Tricky setup, tricky track conditions here. Some of the best on iRacing.
So, Kerry Cleaver, of course, came down pit road that time. Bill Paradise and Matt Burkhart did as well, but I do not see Matt Burkhart anywhere. So he may have lagged out or left. Not sure. But 3 men entered, 1 man left. Bill Paradise is back on the track. Yep, upload packet loss for Matt Burkhart. So hopefully we can get him back in the session momentarily.
Yeah, that's too bad. Burkhart was kind of mixing things up there on the outside lane.
Well, he mixed things up at the end of Talladega last week as well. Gave the winning shot to Wally Turheimer for him to pull it off by 13 1/1000ths sideways. Well, that's sometimes you need to be sideways off a good push.
Yeah, he gave a couple final shots there to Turheimer to ultimately get the 75 across the line first.
Turheimer with some difficulties here to start this one. Is slid from 10th down to 14th, but a long way to go, just over 10% of the way through this race. 26 complete. It's been all Cody Griffin up front, still taking the inside here, still having to fend off Andrew Schulte and Brennan Gregg behind. Johnny Hamby running in 4th. Back to it. Good getaway this time for Schulte. He'll be able to slot into line if he wants. Johnny Hamby a bit wide. Here's Greg Mall underneath, challenging for 4th. Mall is clear.
Yeah, Hamby way wide through that corner. McRoberts. He tries to dive it in on Watts, gets to the inside of Widener. Those two still battling right now. McRoberts should be able to get the position here and does. And then Pansula and Stratman behind them are battling.
Widener and McRoberts had an interesting exit out of Talladega last week. Here we go for the top spot. Schulte finds some real estate underneath of Cody Griffin and makes the challenge. Door to door, wheel to wheel.
Griffin rolls the outside really well there through 3 and 4. Carried a ton of speed to get back out front.
Schulte looks like he is itching to get after it.
Behind them, Greg Mull's itching to get after it with Brent and Greg as well.
The old Greg v. Greg. We saw Nathan versus Nathan on Tuesday night in the Venom Truck Series. How about some Greg v. Greg?
Very similar looking trucks as well.
Yes.
Things have settled in a bit here, but mistakes have been aplenty. You see Griffin's a little loose.
Brad Slagle just made a pass for 11th on Mark Jackson. Schultz sizing up Cody Griffin here. Not really leaving about a half a truck length.
Pansula was able to clear Stratman as well. So Pansula to 9th. Stratman sits in 10th.
Looks like Kerry Cleaver's got his repairs done. You see him rolling on pit road right now. He'll rejoin this race, I think, 12 laps down. Make it 13, actually.
Here comes Slagle underneath of Stratman. So Slagle will take that position. Stratman went way high. And now has to deal with Jackson and Berkema. Stratman on the slide right now, needing to settle in.
And we mentioned what's at stake for Andrew Schultz tonight. But Brad Slagle with an opportunity to move into the top 5 in points, with just one of those top 5 being here. Actually make it 2 of the top 5 because Greg Mull is in 5th. Whoa, somebody way wide out of 2. I think it was Jack Watts, and he gives up a spot to Ryan McRoberts. But kept it out of the wall as best I could tell.
Yeah, Watts with a little bit of a blink as well, so not the best connection there.
Caution is back out. Somebody, I think Mark Jackson, around backwards down the front straightaway, and will get it pointed back in the right direction. Well, lap number 40, it is caution number 4, caution number 5.
I believe that is caution number 4. Go ahead and take a look. Jackson was working on moving forward. And more of the same. You see the back end. Truck is very loose on entry. And then again on exit gets loaded up, and boy, very, very similar to what we saw on Tuesday. Loose on entry, loose on exit. It's tough to feel comfortable at all when the truck is behaving in that manner.
Cody Griffin got caught napping. Most everybody came into pit that time except for he and Brennan Gregg. McRoberts and Slagle have stayed out. I think Mark Jackson also stayed out, but the rest of the field came down for freshies that time. It was a very, very late move by Andrew Schultz. He nearly clipped that cone there, which would have prompted a black flag. That's how late that was. Bit over the curbing.
It looks like he's letting people by. He may have gotten a black flag.
Well, that would not surprise me. It was awfully close. So.
Wow. So Schultz has to go all the way to the back of the line here.
He has the speed to pick his way through the field, but you'd rather not do that if you don't have to.
Well, not only would you rather not do that, I mean, I'm sure most people watching know Martinsville. Very difficult to pass.
And you're sticking yourself behind some of the rowdies. Of course,
Yeah,
everybody will get a little rowdy here throughout the race from time to time, but you don't want to be behind them when they do.
Yeah. I mean, he's behind literally everybody. So no matter who has a rowdy moment, Schulte is going to be behind them, at least for the time being.
So top 5 on older tires here as we'll start to double up. Cody Griffin still the leader. Brennan Gregg now will move from 3rd to 2nd. Ryan McRoberts was just outside of the top 5. Now will line up in 3rd. Brad Slagle had just cracked the top 10. He's now in 4th. And Mark Jackson just brought out the caution, so is at the tail end of the field. Will line up in 5th. Greg Mall then, 2nd off of pit road, but with the penalty for Schulte, he has the best looking tires here on the outside of row number 3.
Very interested to see how the tires play out here, or if we can even tell that much of a difference here on the restart.
It may take a couple of laps with the loose in, loose out condition. We will see. Cody Griffin waiting for the green flag. Good launch. Gregg will be clear. Slagle nearly clear, but McRoberts with a good entry.
McRoberts closed that door quickly. Mark Jackson already on the slide on old tires. Whoa, Berkema sends it in.
That was
and
a
turns
huge
Widener.
bend. That was an aggressive move there. So that has prompted the caution again. And that is getting the getting, for sure. And that, I think, is short track racing.
I think that's what we've now coined a rowdy moment.
Unfortunately, that incident gives a meatball flag to Michael Milfelt Jr. So required repairs out of that one.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look. There was a lot of, we'll just call it maneuvering going on here. Big stack up here through the middle of the corner. Part of it's due to Jackson on old tires kind of going backwards. Everybody's trying to figure out how they're going to get around him. Watts is cleared. Hamby trying to figure out how to get around the 20. And behind them, Berkema sends it here on Pansula. And then Widener, not expecting anybody to be anywhere close to that spot. He's just running his normal line down low. Berkema runs him up the racetrack. And at that point, Widener is already getting turned, trying to hang on to it, but ultimately gets turned around, and there's the contact for Milfelt. Oh, and Wally Turheimer's going to plow in here. That is what does Milfelt in.
Luckily for Milfelt, the repairs are already done. I think he's going to go a lap down. Yes, only one lap down for Michael Milfelt. Mick McGuire was just 2 laps down. He is now back on the lead lap. He got the lucky dog this time and the lucky dog last time. So, Mick McGuire back on the lead lap here. That puts 16 drivers on the lead lap.
There's the cockpit view of the Sen from Berkema. You can see just how much more speed he carried than anybody else.
Quite a bit more, I reckon.
Looked like Ross Chastain out there, except on the inside line rather than the outside.
Yeah, if you hook the left rear tire on the inside of that curb, I think you can use that as a speed boost. It works just the same, right?
Some might say that.
Well, I can't drive this track at all, so I'm looking for any trick I can get to make a lap at Martinsville.
You can in an MX-5. I've seen you do it.
Well, good point. That's the thing.
2,000 times.
As bad as I am at this track, this is the track I've turned the most laps at, if only because I turned 2,000 laps in one race here. And I don't want to talk about that anymore. Cody Griffin has led them all thus far and keeping the field bunched up here. Brendan Gregg on the outside. That was the best restart for the field, if only because they were packed together like pool balls before the break.
Here comes Greg Mull. We'll get around McRoberts, excuse me. Mull, the top truck on fresh tires right now.
Oh, more problems. I'm not too sure Mick McGuire didn't find his way around down the straightaway. Others were in the vicinity. And we are back under caution. I actually think this starts with Wally Turheimer.
Yeah, Turheimer involved in it as well, but Johnny Hamby also went around in front of them.
And just as Martha Turheimer had hopped in the chat as well.
Let's go ahead and see if we can take a look here. Turheimer carries a little bit too much speed. It gets high on the racetrack, is trying to get turned. So he's starting to get a little bit tight up towards the wall. Trying to get that truck turned, and I think just overcorrects it, turns the wheel too far left, and ends up spinning out. He makes contact with Andrew Schulte, trying to work his way through the field. Not sure what kind of damage Schulte will have, but it was somewhat significant. Widener involved here as well. And then further up front, Johnny Hamby. He is really loose on entry. He goes around as well. So a lot of self-inflicted incidents here, but some malicious ones sprinkled in as well.
You'll have a couple of those.
I don't know if malicious is the right word, but some helping
avoidable
force. Yes, avoidable. That's a good word. There's been a nudge here or there.
There's been a shared nudge or two. Something tells me we're not done with those. Michael Milfeld Jr. got the lucky dog. He's back on the lap. Quickly as he lost that lap, he gets it back. So that will again give us 17 trucks. Do believe Kerry Cleaver is back out on the track, but he is the next driver that is not on the lead lap, and he is 15 laps down. Not saying we won't have 15 more cautions this race. So Cleaver may be back in business here before too much longer. We'll see.
Going for the reverse. I like it.
Yep. So we know at this rate, I think the fuel window is right at 95 laps. But at this rate, for the top now 3 drivers who have yet to pit, and Ryan McRoberts as well, they can certainly make it on one stop. We have saved enough fuel for it to be a 100-lap fuel window. So will they pit exactly once? Will they pit twice? At this rate, who knows?
Yeah, Mark Jackson, a part of that group as well, down in 7th.
Here we go. Griffin and Gregg back on the front row. Brad Slagle and Greg Mull. Again, Mull on the freshest tires of those starting in the top 5. Jack Watts with a pretty handy move there to hang on to 5th.
Mull trying to use those tires to his advantage to get a pass made on the outside of Slagle. Able to pinch off the exits and the entries a little bit. but ultimately runs himself a little and a big wiggle from Slagle as well.
Slagle hangs onto the truck, hangs on to third. It's Cody Griffin with some separation up front. Just ran the purple lap of the race. 19.642.
Track isn't changing much here as far as temperature goes. But some rubber starting to get put down. Schultz is still trying to work his way through the field. Damage didn't affect him too bad. He's getting around Strotman on the inside as we speak. Isn't quite clear, but does have the preferred positioning.
Slagle was just almost completely sideways, all on his own. Gives up the third spot to Greg Mall.
And it's going to take him a couple laps to get his bearings back here after a slide like that. Jack Watts is going to get underneath as well.
And over the radio, Greg Mall says, no right turns. A right turn was needed there to bring that one back on course. But a good save by Slagle. Unfortunately, it cost him 2 spots here, but it looks like he's back underway at full song.
Yeah, good job to settle back in here. Oh, no! Mark Jackson's around!
Problems for Mark Jackson running in 7th. And Johnny Hamby, I think.
Hamby at least able to keep it off the wall. Well, until he backed into it.
Caution number 7, I think.
That is correct. This is
You're
number
on
7 on the evening.
Lap 65. Or 66, rather.
Let's take a look. I'm sure this was probably another loose incident, man. I mean, it's so easy to tell from this angle just how loose the rear end of the truck is on entry, and you just never get it back. Once it's there, it kind of stays kicked out to the right, and it's almost impossible to make the exit clean after that happens. We'll go ahead and go back, and we'll go from Johnny Hamby's point of view here. Just makes a little bit of contact. Not too much, though. Able to keep that truck as clean as possible.
Fortunately, that accident put Johnny Hamby a lap down, because right when he spun the truck back around, the leaders were going by. So he'll be in position for the lucky dog should we have another caution. Kerry Cleaver got the lucky dog that time around, so he's 14 laps down now.
And meanwhile, we really haven't talked about it enough, probably. Cody Griffin has stayed in control of this one, but Greg Mall is going to be starting right behind him on fresher tires now. Will that be enough of an advantage?
Normally, I would have said yes. It was about a 40-lap tire advantage. But
not a lot of green laps.
Yeah, 2 laps into that run, Cody Griffin ran the purple lap of the race. So it seems like he still has plenty of life here. And maybe if Mall were able to get out front, he would be able to run a similar purple lap or a very fast lap. Who knows? But this is his best opportunity since he's put on those tires. And really his best opportunity of the race to get something going here. We'll have enough time to fuel up the pace truck here. It'll make it longer than the actual pace car did in the real-life Martinsville race. Cody Griffin, a bit wiggly there, putting the power down. Here is Maul already challenging underneath Brendan Gregg.
Oh, looked like Strotman was real loose on the exit, able to keep it going. And here comes Greg Maul.
Got the power down, had a nose out in front. Greg with some momentum off the top side, hangs on to second for now. But Maul, great drive off. A dead heat into 3. Maul
Looks
just
like
chipping away at it here on the bottom.
Yeah, looks like a decent bit of advantage here with those tires for the 7. And now is clear will be able to put in good laps to catch up to Cody Griffin. Behind them, Schulte has made it up to 6th after going to the tail of the field. Has Slagle and Jack Watts in front of him. Oh, looked like almost a bit of a bump there. Watts, little bit of trouble there on the entry. And Slagle's going to look to the inside now. Schulte is hoping to fill that gap, and he does. Slagle's clear now. Schulte on the inside of the 77. Watts starting to move backwards. McRoberts is right there as well, and here comes Greg Maul.
Big run out of 4. Maul going to take advantage right away. Drives it in deep here. Oh, catches the curb, hops it up into the left side door.
Oh, Griffin in the outside wall as well.
Here's Brendan Gregg closing back in.
Greg Maul nearly jumped the inside curb in there.
He's so loose. Maul hung it out there at a 2.
Here's the look out the back bumper of Cody Griffin.
Greg Maul has not been afraid to body up no matter what track we've been at this season. He did it at Daytona. He did it in Chicagoland. It got him 2 checkers this season. This is where bodying up is acceptable here.
Oh, man, but you can see.
So loose.
That was a great shot of what it looks like when these trucks get loose on the exit there. McRoberts has gotten around Watts as well, so Watts is back to 7th.
Schulte had to roll out of it to not pile into the back of Brad Slagle last time into 1. So Schulte is chomping at the bit here to get up to 4th. Slagle's loose!
Slagle!
All by himself. The caution is going to fly. Oh, and now he's going to go completely around. Kept it out of the sand barrels there.
Had just gone on board with Schulte. Got a great view of it. Schulte did a really good job of checking up and getting around Slagle without any contact.
Slagle, another one of those that had not pitted up to this point. I would imagine maybe he's coming down this time. And Cody Griffin is on pit road now. So he will give up the lead for the first time tonight. Jack Watts jump in. Solon McGuire down pit road here as well.
Here's the incident with Slagle. Schulte does a nice job of going high and getting around. Slagle trying to save this thing, but just can't do it. He does go around, but he keeps it off of all walls in sight and Larson barrels. So minimal damage, but he's going to be towards the back of the field now. And now Andrew Schulte has one truck on old tires in between him and Greg Mall. Schulte's fought all the way back from the tail end of the field.
I'll tell you this much. Cody Griffin has made a mistake. He did not make it off pit road before the field came by. He is going to be a lap down. I do believe.
Interesting.
Yes, indeed. Cody Griffin, one lap down, so that is a huge mistake.
Well, he had a bit of a green flag run there, but still a lot of laps to go. I'm sure he's going to be able to get that lap back.
I don't think him getting the lap back is it's going to be a problem. One driver who got their lap back under this caution was Johnny Hamby. Hamby has since come back down pit road to get some service. So that now gives us 16 trucks on the lead lap. It's Cody Griffin one lap down. Kerry Cleaver is still running on the track 14 laps down. Chris Voiles and Matt Burkhart are our retirees for this race. There's another decent chunk coming up, hopefully under or after this restart here. 8 cautions already. Not quite to halfway just yet. Greg Mall, the new leader. Brennan Gregg in second. Andrew Schulte, a nice comeback after a pit road penalty early. He restarts in third.
Good start for Mall. Schulte pulls up beside Gregg. Gregg really doing a nice job. He actually gets clear of Schulte.
And still on those older tires. Really doing a stellar job.
Yeah, very impressive. Bit of a gaggle back here. Oh, Turheimer up against the wall. Slagle gets by. Oh, nearly contact with Watts. Strotman's now behind him. Getting a little hairy back here. Pansula and Strotman now side by side. Pansula, he will get clear. Here comes Mick McGuire.
Oh, Berkma just got dumped.
Oh, wow.
That was Michael Milfeld that got into him. And we'll watch the replay on this one. I'll let you call it.
All right.
Because I don't have the best look on it.
Go ahead and take a look. And yeah, Milfeld tries to get there to the inside of Berkman. I mean, he certainly went in a little bit hotter, but it wasn't anything crazy egregious. Berkman not giving a lot of room. Milfeld's tires were on the curbing on the inside. I just don't think Berkman thought that Milfeld was going to shoot that inside gap, but Berkma did leave it open.
Certainly a bit of aggression there. We may not be over with that just quite yet. Something tells me.
Berkma comes in for the second time now tonight.
Turheimer, McGuire, and Paradise all on pit road as well. Cody Griffin will get his lap back.
And what a run on the old tires from Brennan Gregg. Cannot believe that he was able to hold off Schulte.
This is start number 7 on the season for Gregg, who was running really well at Sonoma. Didn't quite get the finish that he was looking for out of that and ended up DNFing. But 2 top 10s this season, one of them at Richmond.
Cody Griffin does get his lap back here, by the way. So Griffin now back on the lead lap. But will be at the dead end of the field.
He'll be 18th in line, 17 drivers on the lead lap. And I'll have to work through Kerry Cleaver just for good measure. That's what you got to do here with the Lucky Dog. You're behind everybody. I think Chris Voiles just blew up on pit road. Pace truck is off, still under the control of Greg Mall. So we're back to the restart zone and back underway.
Much different style restart for Mall. A much different cadence than anybody's used to right now. Mall waits till the
bit of stacking up
end.
Back in the field, almost 3 wide here into 3.
Yeah, Jack Watts backed off. That was probably the smart move.
Schulte and Gregg battling hard for second. Oh, there's Mick Roberts tagged, dumped by Slagle. That was the battle for 6th and 7th. And we are back under caution.
Where's Denny when you need him?
He might be in the crowd here somewhere. He might be driving. Who knows? This might be one of his 10,000 races.
Oh, and here we see this is a bit of a precarious position here.
This is the same group we just pointed out was almost 3 wide into the last set of turns.
Certainly was. McRoberts goes way high here and gets slowed way down in the process, so Slagle tries to kind of shoot the middle, it's just not really there. It was close to being there, it just wasn't quite there.
Gary says only 13 to go over the radio. And the retort to that was, at this rate, you're going to make it. We are now across halfway.
Only 13 cautions or 13 green flag laps to go? Not sure.
Well, we still got 2 hours left in the session, so I'd say we could do at least 13 laps in that amount of time. Maybe 14 if we're lucky. So now the question is, when will we see some of the last holdouts pit here? Because they're, in theory, over the fuel window. Or is the only holdout left here Brent and Greg?
I actually think Slagle has not come down pit road either.
Now that you mention that, I think you're right.
However, if we actually do only run 13 more green flag laps, I don't know if they'll ever have to come down pit road. I mean, that's an awful long time to stretch. That's probably not true, but the thought is funny in my mind.
Well, what is going to be interesting is if we do get a long green flag run in, where that is going to put Brent and Greg.
Yeah, it could definitely be behind the 8-ball.
And on these older tires has put up some stellar defense.
Behind the 8-ball and behind the Greg ball as we are about to go racing again.
Oh boy, they put something in your hot dog, didn't they? Back to it, across halfway. Schulte and Greg going back at it for second. Schulte just can't quite get this pass done. But this may be a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's been a good battle the last couple restarts here. Schulte, gets a big nose out here. That's the biggest advantage we've seen. Oh, he tries to clear himself. He was not clear at the time, now is.
Greg back to third. Here is Charlie Widener up to fourth. Sort of snuck up on us, but he's here. Mike Millfield now in the top 5.
And chaos has reassumed here throughout the middle of the field. Griffin is on the upward trajectory right now, already up to 10th and looking for more. He's trying all sorts of different stuff. He's trying the outside. He's trying outside in. Trying to scare Hamby in front of him. He is wanting to go. Here goes Hamby to pass Jack Watts. Oh, boy. Griffin looking to fill that hole here as well. A little bit of a bump to the 77. Says, let's get going here, brother. Or the 70, that is. Oh, a little bit of leaning.
That's used up. Schulte tracking down Greg Ball.
Griffin roots Johnny Hamby up off the bottom. He is not messing around. He wants to go now.
Make your passes while you got green flag laps to work with. This is for 8th. Oh, wow. Oh, Widener right in front of him.
Big problems. Watts hits the inside wall trying to avoid.
And I think Johnny Hamby got up into the outside wall trying to avoid as well. So Charlie Widener around to bring out yet another caution. And I'm thinking it's a solo incident because he had a lot of space behind him. Back to Mike Millfield.
Oh, let's take a gander, and you are right. A lot of space to work with here. And it certainly is identical to what we've seen all night long. Oh, man, the front bumper of Hamby comes flying off when he hits the wall. Here comes some more pit stops.
Yes, so we are in the fuel window to the end here, in theory. Green the rest of the way. Greg Mall is not amongst these pitters. It's another 5 or 6 holdouts here. Maul, Turheimer, McGuire, Berkma, Paradise, Hamby, and Griffin have stayed out. Ender Schulte will lead the drivers off of pit road. Brennan Gregg has finally come down to get his. Mike Milfelt, Brad Slagle, Cody Griffin actually was on pit road, my mistake. He comes out 5th. Mark Jackson, Drew Strotman, John Pansola, and Charlie Widener. Then the next 2 come to pits. Jack Watts has called it a night, apparently. And the free pass goes again to Kerry Cleaver, who is now 13 laps down.
There's Lance cheering on Wally.
All right. We got the Turheimer crew back out here again. It was a rough start for Wally, but things have quieted down a bit for him as they've gotten louder for everybody else. But now Wally back up at second.
Yeah, and with the caution laps we've had, probably going to be good on fuel to the end. Now, if we go green from here on out, maybe close, but
I think it's definitely close.
But we had quite a few caution laps here. We get a couple more cautions, I think he's going to be okay. Now, Greg Mull, on the other hand, probably not.
We've had 6 different winners this season in maximum competition. Only 2 of them are in the field here, and they are on the front row for this restart. Greg Mull, 2 wins. Wally Turheimer, the most recent driver to take a race victory last week at Talladega. Top 3 on older tires, everybody else with freshy. It's on the outside of. Maul to the restart zone. We're back on our way. Turheimer does not get a great getaway. Here is Berkman to the inside, the challenge for second. Schulte drops down right away to the bottom.
Maul mixing it up on the restarts. He went immediately that time. Good action from Maul there. Here comes Schulte.
Berkman not even going to fight it. He stays to the top side. Schulte roaring to life here on fresh tires.
Brennan Gregg coming in behind him as well. Slagle, Turheimer's on a slide right now.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Griffin.
We don't have to talk about Brendan Gregg being on the back foot anymore.
Oh!
Oh, that was a huge moment there.
Wow.
What a save.
I thought for sure he was going around.
Good job by Cody Griffin not to pile into the back there.
Oh, boy,
Slagle.
there it is.
Wow. That was a dump.
I think there might have been a little bit of help from the back.
I think just
on
a bit.
that one as well.
Well, unfortunately, that caught innocent bystander Drew Strotman out. And we've seen some short track tempers flaring.
I don't even want to know what that radio sounds like.
It's quiet, which is not good.
Let's take a look at this incident here. I'm curious. I think Slagle might have had some help from Griffin. No, I take that back. I am mistaken. My apologies to the 3. Although I do think the 3 played a role because Slagle was wanting to get away from him. And just overcooked a little bit. Let's go full speed. Technically was a little bit of a hole there. Berkham's kind of been running that line. entering more in the middle and then kind of chopping down, but there wasn't really much of a hole there. That was about the lowest percentage possible.
Well, I think it's worth pointing out, Berkma had 2 accidents to start this race. Some drivers were very much not happy over the radio about them. And Berkma has since gone around twice in almost the exact same manner. So, put 2 and 2 together there.
You know what they say in short track racing.
Yep. That's right, Denny. And Berkman just went to come down pit road here and I think had a commitment line violation. Just when it rains, it pours. So we'll have a black flag to serve. Drew Strotman has already completed his required service. So he should be able to rejoin here if he's not out on the track already. For some reason, I can't see him right now. Yep, he's at the tail of the line here. Greg Mall on older tires now, and there is no line of defense other than himself. Because Schulte was coming in a hurry. He is now here. He is yet to be in the lead, despite being one of the drivers seeing the most time up front this race.
Well, there's a little bit of a line of defense. It's the hooligans behind him. Getting these cautions to come out.
Well, with Schulte here knocking on the door on the outside, it's not going to take much. We'll see how Maul can get the field back underway. After working the 12th caution, that was not a great start there for Schulte. Here is Brennan Gregg to capitalize in second. He takes it.
Oh, and here comes Cody Griffin. Griffin has been on a mission. Hamby and Turheimer side by side at the moment. Hamby will get the best of that one.
And Hamby just ran the best sector of the race. And he clocks the purple lap. So Hamby, fastest of practice, finally finding his way back on rails here.
Oh, here comes Schulte. Got awfully close to the back of the 18 there.
And Griffin nearly into the back of Schulte, gets super loose there out of 2. Loses a ton of time.
Hamby's on the move right now. Gets around Milfelt. Hamby up to 6th. He's gained a couple positions.
And Riley Berkman had to serve that black flag under greens. Came out into the middle of the battle as well. Oh, Brennan Gregg loose. Here is Schulte to capitalize, trying to move back up into second.
Oh, Griffin loose as well, up into the wall.
Monkey see, monkey do here in Martinsville. Schulte back to second. Griffin now with Gregg to his outside. Johnny Hamby, I think, just got pretty loose there out of 4 as well, but hangs on to the 6th position.
Some contact. More contact down the straightaway.
Griffin trying to keep it down to the bottom here. And he's clear by an inch or 2. Brad Slagle moving in the mix now. But Griffin, his focus, I'm sure, completely in front of him. As Schulte has closed in on Greg Mall. Bill Paradise on and off pit road. Go ahead.
Griffin has been probably the fastest on track all night. He's looking to track down Schulte, but Schulte is one tough monkey to pass.
Drew Strutman, you see there on pit road as well. Lap truck ahead is Kerry Cleaver. He will stick to the top side.
Griffin looks to be pushing awful hard. I've seen him loose there behind Schulte multiple times.
I mean, good bounce back so far for Schulte and Griffin. They both picked up, or both rather had pit road mistakes that sent them to the tail of the field.
Here's the onboard shot for Schulte as he's looking to track down Greg Mall. Paradise goes high to let everybody by.
It's less than a trunk length now for Schulte. He's been consistently reeling in the race leader, and now it's out just as that starts to develop. Looks like problems through turn number 2. Maybe Kerry Cleaver. He looked to be pretty slow compared to some of the drivers that were around him. But I didn't see anything pop up on my monitor there, so I'm not 100% sure.
Looked like there was an incident. Let's see. Oh wow, Milfeld really loose on entry, and then Cleaver behind him. Much of the same. Milfeld actually got up into the wall, but Cleaver goes around sideways.
Quite a few drivers on pit road, including the top 5. Mall, Schulte, Griffin, Gregg, and Slagle all into pit. Michael Milfeld as well. Mark Jackson, Mick McGuire, Wally Turheimer, Kerry Cleaver, John Pansilla. Which gives the lead now to the driver that was the second or third quickest for most of those laps under that green flag run, Johnny Hamby. And again, Hamby, quickest in practice, started towards the front of this field, found some trouble, but has found his speed again of late.
And Schulte leapfrogged. Actually, didn't look like he did on the exit, but Mall is behind Schulte.
Yes, he is. I agree. I showed Mall out ahead of Schulte. I was wondering that myself.
Unless some sort of...
who knows? It's
I
short
don't
track
know.
racing.
Could have sworn that my eyes told me Schulte was behind Mall, but of course I could be wrong.
No, I don't think you are. I have no problem telling you when you're wrong, believe me.
You relish the days that you can, I know.
Yeah, 1 in a million.
I think it's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Not more days, but more often.
Oh, okay. $59 to go when you come back around to the speed stripe. Let us know what your favorite hot dog topping is in the comments. You can't go wrong with ketchup, in my opinion. But shout out to onions as well.
I've become a mustard man.
Oof. Matt Savell. Johnny Hamby and Charlie Widener on older tires here. Wow, big wiggle there from Greg Mall as he puts the power down.
Same from Griffin as well. Oh, and those two get together. Griffin is able to save it, but he's going to lose a spot or two here.
Griffin trying to hang on as Schulte back on the attack. Johnny Hamby in the lead. Schulte has been in second place to 3 different drivers this race. Has yet to be in the lead himself. Looking to change that here. Maul in third, pulls up onto the scene as well. Widener gets rooted out of the way.
Oh, Slagle's going to go around. No,
Saves
he doesn't.
him, but off the side of Michael Milfeld. I would imagine Milfeld's got quite a bit of damage off of that. Here's Schulte with a peek to the inside of Hamby. Hamby shuts the door into 3. Griffin with a move. Griffin up to 4th.
If Milfeld isn't there, Slagle is sideways in the middle of that track.
Yes, for sure.
Maul is starting to hound Schulte here. It looks like Hamby's slowing him up just a bit, maybe.
Schulte cannot get the pass done. But he's got to run now. This may be his best opportunity yet. He's at the door. Can he get the drive? He might get a bump here for Maul.
Maul better be careful. Cody Griffin's going to put his nose here in the fight as well.
Oh, Maul loose!
Oh!
Down into Griffin. There's Schulte to the lead, and he's clear. 3 wide for second. Hamby doesn't want any part of it. Schulte with the lead for the first time in this race. But Cody Griffin is back to the front. He wants to reassume the top spot. And he's done just about anything he can to get himself back in this position.
Hamby loses another spot to Brennan Gregg, so Hamby back to 5th now. Oh, Maul was right on Griffin, but big loose there. Now Griffin is starting to track Andrew Schulte.
These two on an equal tire life. Griffin with the purple lap last time around, actually a couple of laps ago, but still in hot pursuit.
Oh, you see the steering input. Getting the power down is just so difficult.
The old egg under the gas pedal. We've heard it a lot this week especially.
Yeah, there's going to be some healthy debate about short track racing in leagues after this week.
Oh, Griffin right here. When will he employ the bumper? We've still got a little under 50 laps to go. Griffin looking for the out to in here. Has a run. He'll have the look here. Schulte trying to squeeze as much as he can. Dead heat at the line.
Both of them absolutely sending it into these corners.
Griffin not able to clear. Schulte going to fight back on the outside.
Schulte trying to pinch him down, but it's not enough. Cody Griffin will take the spot. Maybe not quite yet. Schulte still has some fight in him.
Well, he has the lead across the line, and now he's clear, but Schulte maybe looking for the crossover. Griffin going to shut that down. Schulte with an early penalty on pit road sent him to the tail of the field. Cody Griffin stayed too long on pit road, seemingly for no reason, and went a lap down. Got a lucky dog, fought his way all the way back through the field. So did Schulte. And they both find themselves right where they started this race in first and second. Lap traffic going to stay high.
Still lots of laps left here, though. Schulte hoping to just hang on and maybe hoping Griffin will burn his stuff up here.
I can't say this with any amount of certainty, but this feels like the longest run of the night. It's definitely up there. So we haven't really seen how anybody performs on an actual long run yet.
Went green on lap 132, so here in a few laps it'll be 30-lap run.
Schulte backing up now to Greg Mall. Top three equidistant here.
This is the closest battle on the track still. A lot of folks have kind of spread out now.
Griffin better on entry, Schulte better on exit. But Schulte not fading away here. He's pulled back up. Oh, trouble again. Drew Strotman, Riley Berkma. I think that was actually just Riley Berkma, a solo spin for him in 3 and 4, and that'll put us under caution once again.
Here's a look at the replay, and Berkman just carries way too much speed there into the corner. Ends up backing it into the wall. Oh boy. Just when things were starting to settle down just a bit, we're going to go ahead and ratchet it back up again.
Somebody call the Baja Man. We're about to let the dogs out.
This is not good for Schulte either.
No.
Schulte will have to start on the outside. Maul likely will be able to get the nose underneath. And those two battling is only going to allow Griffin to get farther out front.
And again, Schulte was coming to life there on that medium run. Just as he had a lot of the runs that he was in pursuit there. So I would think if Schulte can hang on to second here, we get a run all the way to lap 200, it might be advantage 81. But we've been hard-pressed to come by any runs longer than 20 laps here.
You know, that one was just under 30. I believe it was around 28 laps. Fourteenth caution of the night, in case you were wondering.
Is that all? Those are rookie numbers. We got to bump those numbers up.
Well, don't say that too loud.
Yeah, we still got a lot of laps left. And 3 overtimes. Anything can happen here. The battling for the lead has been fierce and pretty fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have just about 30 laps left, and these guys are not going to hold anything back.
Doors, bumpers, fenders, they're all going to be in play here. As Griffin, again, bunches the field back up, gets back to the gas. Schultz trying to find room underneath, but there's Greg Mall. Clear now.
Yeah, Schultz does a really great job of getting a good start there and is able to pull back in behind Griffin. That was huge.
Battling for 5th, Hamby and Millfield. Oh, spin. Mark Jackson's around. Back under caution. Sounds like he had help. Wally Turheimer over the radio says that's all on.
Go ahead and take a look here. There's Jackson in the 20. Oh, yeah. Turheimer just carries too much speed. Gets into the left rear and spins him around. Jackson, that is. And then Stropman's going to come in and give him a little love tap. Let him know he's thinking about him.
We just had some extracurricular activity there under the caution. Not really sure what all that was about. Doubling up. I mean, if you're Schulta, 1, you're hoping you could get down to the bottom again, and 2, you're hoping this thing could go green to the end.
Yeah, I mean, what he did there was very difficult to get that good of a restart and then be able to get down behind Griffin. It's going to take another perfect restart to be able to do it.
I thought we were doubling up last time. Kind of a really long caution period here for some reason. This one feels way longer than the rest of them.
It does. That you are not wrong. I don't know. If
now we're doubling up.
Nobody really came down pit road, so there's no action. I'm not sure, but be 25 to go here.
Griffin and Schultz on row 1, Mull and Gregg on row 2, Hamby and Millfield on row 3, McGuire, Pansilla on row 4, Slagle and Turheimer, row 5, Widener, Paradise, Jackson, McRoberts, Berkma through the 15th position. Top 13 drivers on the lead lap here. Griffin again waiting to get the green flag to keep the field bunched up here. It worked in Schultz's favor last time. This time, maybe advantage Mull. 3 wide and bumping in the back of the field. Schultz fends off Maul for now and will drop down to the bottom, maybe.
Oh, there goes Milfelt.
Milfeld hard into the inside wall, flush for the right side door. Caution is out again. And it's going to look like Hamby got into the back of Michael there, but Michael actually with the solo spin, I don't think Hamby even got a piece of that. Somehow.
Oh, yeah, you see the truck start to rotate around. Oh, and then he catches the curb. That's what got him. Catches the inside curb with the left rear. And you're right, Hamby did a great job of trying to give him room. Looked like he had it saved, but that curb just upset the truck too much.
Just a bit too much. While we're pointing out drivers that had good comebacks in this race, of course, Griffin and Schultz both had to battle back through the field. Why not point out Mick McGuire, who was 2 laps down early in this one as well? He is right behind Johnny Hamby there in P6. It's a good comeback for driver number 98.
Griffin and Schultz not only fighting for the win here, but fighting for the Kim Kardashian comeback of the night.
Wow.
Been thinking about that one since Tuesday. Thank you.
Wow. Not doubling it up just yet. This would be a good time to remind you we're racing again next Thursday at Dover. I'm sure there are a few drivers that are Dover-it at this point. They'll have another shorter track to try it again next week.
Boy, we're really starting to trade some good ones here.
Oh, yeah. Real top shelf banter here. You know, it's 11 o'clock on the East Coast right now. This one may be over by Friday.
Are you sure?
No. We are close to the channel record for cautions. I think it is 18. We are on 16 with 20 to go, 19 at the line. And we're in Martinsville. Griffin, Schulte, Maul, and Greg have been up front all race. Who is going to put this one to bed? Who is going to walk away with the dub? Another good start for Griffin. Schulte with a great start. Greg challenging Greg on the outside.
Now, Schulte has been rock solid on these restarts. Just needs some time to work. Couple of stack-ups here in the back of the field, but everybody running pretty good. Milfelt going for a pass there on Pansula. And we'll get the job done.
Of course, with the spin there, Milfeld came down pit road under caution, so I'm assuming he put on a sticker set, so he should be flying here.
Well, that is Milfeld's 7th time down pit road, so it's hard to tell. Only 4 extra sets of tires. I'm assuming probably did not take tires on all of those stops, because a couple of those were to fix extensive damage.
Schulte a bit loose there through the middle of 3 and 4. Loses big time.
Griffin loose on exit, almost slapped the wall.
$15, now $14 to go.
Wow, and Schulte, a lot of the same there. These drivers having to attack this track now. And you're seeing the effects on the trucks.
Mall closing in on Schulte. Schulte fading from Griffin. $12 laps to go.
Slagle starting to come into the picture, a fight for a top 5 here.
Brendan Gregg, is faded back to Hamby and Slagle. So 4th, 5th, and 6th all close together here. 1, 2, and 3 close together as well now with 10 to go.
Yeah, starting to get separated just a little bit. Not
Whoa,
a
Hamby
whole lot.
way wide. Hamby missed the apex big time there, and there is Slagle right underneath, trying to capitalize.
Hamby doing a good job fighting back, though. Oh, but really wide entry there. Slagle will take the spot.
Schulte's been running some decent laps here in second. These two have been trading fastest lap on the track the last couple of laps. Schulte doing everything he can. 6 podium finishes in a row coming into tonight, but no victories on the season. Wants to rectify that. And 1 podium finish for Cody Griffin, a couple of top 5s to go along with that. But likewise, no wins. Coming off of his first pole of the season as well. 5.5 laps away from victory.
Ball has started to fall back a little bit, but Schulte still on the run. Hasn't let Griffin get too far away here.
That time it was Schulte by 3/100ths of a second. Little by little, foot by foot, Schulte getting closer. 4 to go.
You can tell Schulte's really starting to push it on entries now. Closes in a lot on the entries.
Oh, big wiggle.
Loses a little bit on the exits, but he's still gaining time.
Pushing hard. Two laps to go. Can Schulte find a way through? Will Griffin hang on? Oh, spin! Berkma down the front stretch. We're going to overtime.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
I mean, a half a lap. We were right there.
Not even half a lap. Oh, man, oh, man.
I'm sure this is probably a solo incident. And it is.
Well, this could get rather contentious. Just
Well,
a guess.
You know, here's the thing. I don't know with in 2 laps, Schultz is going to be able to recover from the restart to even get close to Griffin. I mean, Griffin gets big jumps on the restarts here. I really think the main battle is going to be between Schultz and Maul for second.
If Schultz is able to get clear, though, no telling what is going to happen. I mean, I don't think Schultz is really the one to use the bumper, but, you know.
That's what I was going to say. If anything I've learned about Andrew Schultz here this season, I don't think he's going to be the one to really send it too deep and, you know, mess anybody else's race up that terribly.
But a race win is on the line.
And a championship.
And a championship. Absolutely.
Still going to get a lot of points on his contenders with nobody else in the top 4 here, but the win would make it that much more.
Doubling up here for our first of potentially 3 overtimes. Griffin, Schultz. Can Maul or Greg make the difference down the stretch here? Another good jump for Griffin. Schultz with Maul underneath.
Yeah, Schultz did not get a very good start there.
And much like you said, these two are going to duke it out here side by side for second. White flag is out. Next flag ends it. Half a mile to go. The battle is on for second, but it's Cody Griffin's race. Cody Griffin is the winner with maximum velocity. Schultz with a slip up there from Maul at a turn 4. Takes second. Maul will round out the podium. And after 207 laps, this one is over.
Whew, doggy.
We'll watch the burnouts here from Griffin and then get to the finishing order pretty quick. It is getting late here. It's officially, and mark it down, past my bedtime. But that doesn't mean that we can't take in a first-time winner. 3 first-time winners in a row, actually. Winner number 7 on the season. It's another win for Chevy. They have gone on a long streak of dominance here. And Cody Griffin with the first win of his season after some good performances, but has come up short. And is going to take this one as far as it will go.
That is maybe some of the best we've seen all season.
Definitely. And long awaited for sure. All right, we'll go ahead and give you the full finisher rundown here. Only 20 starters here tonight. Not everybody finishes. Cody Griffin, Andrew Schultz, and Greg Wall on the podium. We'll talk to these three gentlemen momentarily. Nice run for Brennan Gregg. Season best fourth place finish for him. Brad Slagle will round out your top five. He's the hard charge tonight up 14 spots. Johnny Hamby in sixth. Charlie Widener 7th, Mick McGuire in 8th, Mark Jackson, Ryan McRoberts round out your top 10. John Pansoli in 11th, Michael Milfeld Jr. in 12th, Bill Paradise 13th, Wally Turheimer, the last driver on the lead lap, in 14th, Riley Berkman in 15th, Drew Strotman 16th, DNF, actually not DNF for Kerry Cleaver, he finishes 17th, then DNFs for Jack Watts, Chris Voiles, and Matt Burkhart through the 20th position. We'll go ahead now and start with the podium interviews, and we'll bring up first your third place finisher. Welcome back to Max V competition for Greg Mall here tonight. Nice work here, partner.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Yeah, it was definitely a long night tonight. A lot of adversity, a lot of practice on trying to get restarts nailed with tire spin, old tires, new tires, you name it. It was just there's just a lot going on tonight. But yeah, it's. After the dust settles, third place, I guess, we'll take it.
Different lines working throughout different points of this race, but the thing that always seemed to be working very well, and you got a little bit of experience with this, was being in control on the restarts. I mean, it seemed like pretty much if you were the control car coming to a green, you were going to be damn near untouchable up front.
Yeah, and it was just trying to stay up front, turn some halfway decent lap times, and just try not to make a mistake and not try and slide the tires or anything like that. And I think that last long run that we had just before it was about 30 to go or whatever it was. I mean, we had a decent lead out front, but I could just feel the tires underneath that car was just starting to slip away, and it was just probably going to be a matter of time before Andrew caught me at the time, but caught a lucky caution there, and just. Yeah, I was just trying to hold on at that point. It's just, a dark, cold track like we had tonight. It just, I don't know. I would have figured it would have been a lot more grippy than it was.
Matt, what do you got?
Certainly pretty slippery. Congrats on the P3. This, to me, is a bit of a rhythm track here at Martinsville, and that's really couldn't find any sort of rhythm here tonight. How difficult is that when you have restart after restart, not really able to get many laps in?
Yeah, it was definitely a test tonight. I don't know what the final yellow count was that we had tonight, but I mean, I can imagine it was certainly in the double digits. So just, yeah, like I said, trying to nail the restarts, trying to minimize tire spin, then just, like I said, trying to make the most out of what we had if, we were restarting towards the front, which I think we did a bulk of the night tonight. But, yeah, it was just definitely a lot of repetition there and just tough to get into a rhythm. And, yeah, I agree. This track is definitely conducive to something like that for sure.
I think caution counted it up at 17, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So that's about how I feel about that, too. Yeah. Anybody want to shout out or say hello to? It's been a while since we've had you up here in the booth, but always happy to have you up here.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to Cody and Andrew there with the 1-2 finish tonight. That was definitely a lot of fun battling those guys throughout pretty much the entire night. So, of course, gotta thank all the friends and family that are back home watching on Twitch and all their support. This was definitely a long night tonight, and just appreciate those guys lurking and chatting, hanging out, and having a good time. It was definitely something just fun to try and hang out with during the various yellows that we had tonight, and with all the admins with Max V and putting on a league that we can come to each week is definitely much appreciated. And with you Tommy, and with you Matt up in the booth, you guys calling a great race. This is definitely going to be fun to watch the green flag portion of this event tonight. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and we'll look forward to next week.
Absolutely. Nice run here tonight.
Appreciate it, guys.
We're bringing up your second place finisher, and the streak continues. It is 7 podiums in a row now for finisher Andrew Schulte. And another good effort here tonight, and more fantastic dueling up front, but a P2 finish for you. Congratulations, first of all, especially considering the fact that you had to work your way all the way up through the field there after a yellow flag pit stop penalty. I mean, especially in track conditions like this, picking your way up through the field here tonight was not an easy task. It certainly didn't look it.
Yeah, that hurt us, and that was just a dumb mistake on my part. I was too focused on when I decided to come down and I think it was keeping Cody out there at the point. I was looking in my mirror to see who else was coming with me, or if I was going to be a lone duck, and not looking at how fast I was going. And by the time I caught it, it was already too late. But yeah, I had kind of an uphill battle from there. But we got our way back to the front, but we just didn't have anything for Cody. He was obviously the class of the field. We were starting to run him back down on that second to last run, but I think we were just running out of laps. If we had 15 or 20 more laps, it would have been interesting to see how the tires kind of set in there and see if we had anything for him. But we just didn't have the truck tonight. But P2 keeps, I think I heard on the broadcast last week, you guys got a tally of podiums, and I think that keeps the streak alive for now.
It certainly does, and I would say you did have something for Cody there, especially coming to that last run with just 2 laps to go, or coming to the white flag, I guess, when that last caution came out. I mean, you had run him down. You were right there. But I mean, it was going to be difficult to make that pass without maybe rooting him up off the bottom or using the bumper there late in the going. I mean, it looks so difficult to make a pass once everybody sort of got out of restart mode and got into rhythm mode.
Yeah, it was real hard to put the power down tonight. The last time that I raced here, I don't remember the characteristics being like this, and it may just be that it's been a while, or I haven't raced the trucks on here in a bit, but it was a lot harder to put the power down than I remember, especially out of 2. That was a real, I'd say weak point for us. I was real timid going through the exit there, kind of throughout the night, and I was really just focused on trying to get a decently straight drive off without lighting up the tires. And I think everyone had their hiccups throughout the night of just trying to get the power down too quick. But yeah, it would have been tough to figure out how to get by him with the amount of time left. Like you said, we caught him kind of right at the end there, so having 1 lap, I don't know if I would have put the bumper to him. I might have tried, but I'm not. I don't like racing that way. I'd rather try getting a clean pass done, but just barely catching him at the end there. It's hard to say what I would have done, but like I said, congrats to him again, because it was a well-deserved win for him.
Yeah, Matt and I had that philosophical debate ourselves when the time came to it. So, Matt, what do you got here?
Oh, certainly congratulations. Yeah, Tommy mentioned it. You coming from the back of the field, that's a tough task here tonight. So a whale of a job to get back to the front and fight for the win there. Who do you want to shout out here?
Shout out Patented Paints. I know I shout him out every week, but I just love the way he paints up trucks and cars and everything that you can ask for. Really, he does an awesome job. Shout out to the Turn 200 crew. Love you guys' broadcasts. Looking forward to watching this one and fast forwarding through the many cautions that we had. At least we'll see for the first couple what's going on. But yeah, I mean, we just had a ton of cautions tonight. That was a lot. Shout out to wife and kids and Bandit Motorsports teammates.
There you go, partner. Nice running here tonight. Keep it up. We'll talk to you again next week in Dover.
Thank you, sir.
Now it is the first-time race winner for the third week in a row. This time it is the driver who had to make their way all the way through the field. Cody Griffin going to win from the pole here tonight, but not without passing a lot of trucks to do it. First of all, congratulations on the win. It's a long time coming. Man, well, first of all, I don't want to speculate any. You came into pits, and then you sat in the pits for what seemed to be an extra lap there. What was going on?
I had to use the bathroom, man.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it was a bit of a longer race than what we would have liked to. You know, everybody had a little bit of cautions there, so I had to come down pit road halfway and use the bathroom, and I knew that I was going to try to get back before I went a lap down, but just didn't quite make it. But I really didn't sweat it because I knew that, you know, the way the night had went, it was right at like lap 80, I think, so it was a little shy halfway, and I knew by the way the night had went, I'd get another caution and get my lap back. So it was just kind of keep the nose clean, keep duck work on it, and not kill it trying to come back up through the field.
Yeah, there were only 11 more cautions after that. I think you had it covered. But, I mean, up to that point, you had led every lap before you came down pit road and held off some drivers on fresher tires there. I mean, it's certainly, and Andrew Schultz said as much, and I'm going to have to agree, you were definitely the class of the field here tonight. And it's nice when the class of the field actually has to work for it a little bit at the same time.
Yeah, it's a little bit more my speed anyway. You know, I run limited late model and a little bit of late model stock stuff in real life. So, you know, this track's short tracks, more what I'm used to with the way the tire model and everything is on iRacing right now, and the dynamic tracks deal kind of being broken. It's just the bigger tracks I'm just not as strong at. I wouldn't say I'm awful by any means, but just not as strong there as I am on these short tracks. But it was I don't know, we fired off there, and to me, this truck, I mean, the setup, it felt like it was on top of the racetrack. It just never got down into the racetrack. It didn't have no drive off. I didn't really struggle with entry to center for the start of the race. But once I had to start coming back up through the field, which was, you know, about the time it got real good and dark, the track was getting slicker as the night went on, I guess with the concrete and everything. But I started fighting entry to center loose as well as exit coming up off. I got pretty free there a few times on entry to center and had to cram some front brake to it. And once I got back out front, or at least up toward the top 5, I went back into, you know, trying not to push it. Like I said, it just, for whatever reason, every time I tried to hustle the truck tonight with this setup, it just wouldn't take it. I actually was slower trying to hustle it and get up on the wheel than I was if I was just smooth and consistent. So every setup's different, but you know, we battled through a little bit of adversity there and dodged 2 or 3 wrecks that, man, seemed like they happened right in front of me, and got my attention quite a few times, but got back up to the front and got away from Schulte and the rest of them guys and was able to pull away.
Matt, what do you got for the race winner here?
Oh, congrats on the race win. You kind of mentioned you had to come back through the field. When you're restarting back there, what's kind of your game plan? Trying to, you know, push to make the passes, but also kind of have to tiptoe around those guys a little bit.
Well, it was a bit of a rude awakening, to be honest, because I hadn't been back there the whole race, and I really didn't run around anybody in practice. I done some single runs and, you know, was just trying to find speed, so I didn't really run around anybody else. And I noticed when I got back here real quick, the pace, man, I mean, they were checking up super hard going off into the corner, and I actually spun out when I got back there to the back. When we went back green, I spun out. It didn't bring the caution out. I don't know how, but it didn't. But I spun out just getting on the brakes so hard to not run over the guy in front of me. So I kind of knew what I had to deal with from there, and just tried to really back my entry up to not run over those guys and just get good drive up off.
Well, it worked.
Yeah.
That's all you can say, I think, after a night like tonight. But man, nice driving here tonight, and especially in tough track conditions. Everybody was having a tough time with it. So nice job here tonight. A long-awaited victory for you. Anybody you want to shout out or say hello from the top step?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to Turn 200 for broadcasting. Thank you guys
Hey.
so much. And also like to shout out James Lehman and Justin Michael and all the guys behind the scenes that put the league on and give us a place to come race. Appreciate those guys. I've ran leagues before personally. I had a late model stock league for about 2 seasons, and man, this stuff will make you want to pull your freaking hair out. So kudos to them guys. I know they bust their tails trying to give us somewhere to race and officiate and all that stuff. And thanks to them guys. Thank you y'all for broadcasting, and got to give a shout out to Pete Stewart. He watches me 9 times out of 10 run these races, so he enjoys it, and just want to shout out to him and anybody else who I know that might be watching, and the rest of the fans for watching. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and hopefully we'll get back next week. Also give my girlfriend a shout out. She's in the computer room, been watching, so I don't get in trouble. So shout out to her. But I guess we'll be back next week. Give it another shot.
Well, we'll look forward to back from you then next week. But go party hard in the meantime. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, Matt. We'll wrap this one up here real quick. But let's thank the folks that were hanging out with us here tonight in the meantime.
Yeah, shout out to Wally's crew, Martha and Lance cheering on Wally Turheimer as always. Appreciate you guys being in the chat every week that we are here with Maximum Velocity Racing League. Really appreciate it. And anybody else that was out there watching tonight. A lot of downtime, but it was worth it in the end. Yeah, it was classic Martinsville for sure.
2 races to go across the next 3 weeks. Of course, next week we're in action at the Monster Mile, Dover, for 115 laps. That is going to be fantastic. Between now and then, we'll have some racing action on Sunday with the official top split broadcast for the Porsche Mission R Challenge. They did not go official today for the first time in quite some time in their Thursday Strength of Field race, which is weird because it's at Lime Rock Park, which is base content and based content as well, may I add. So hopefully we won't run into that problem on Sunday afternoon here at 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Eastern. Monday we're off. Tuesday we're back with the Venom Truck Series, and they are at Phoenix for the Turkey Trot 140. And then Wednesday we're off with ASRL, so only 2 races next week. Tuesday with the Venom Truck Series, and Thursday back here with Max V at Dover. So that is how we'll leave things here tonight at Martinsville. For everybody with Max V, GOAT, Mr. Matt Williamson, I'm Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long and good riddance to Martinsville, where Cody Griffin finally stands tall in victory lane.